I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad, but in particular my father, so I told you he was a coach. He went from coaching into the business world, and he worked for a AAA, American Automobile Association. Y'all familiar with AAA? Okay. So he started selling AAA memberships, and it moved him out of education into the sales world. He became the sales director for all of Texas. So that meant he traveled all over Texas training salespeople. So when we were growing up, we learned how to be salespeople. And so it started when I was 4 years old, and my dad, I don't even know if I've even told you all this one, but my dad would actually have us set goals. So now he was a coach, so that was always important. And he would always say, you got to have a 5-year plan. You got to have a 5-year plan. And then so what's your 5-year plan? So you're 5. You're like, I don't know, make it to 10. I'm not sure. Anyway, so you're 5 because you don't have a clue where you're supposed to be going with this. But he says, you got to have a 5-year plan. Have I ever told you all this one? The 5-year plan? Okay, so here's a 5-year plan. Here's a 5-year plan for everybody. 5-year plan. Year 1, you're going to get killed. You're going to get, as a coach, your team's going to get beat. You're going to get whooped. You might not even win a game. 0-10 that year. He said, year 2, you better have learned something. You better learn something, son. You're 5. You're like, yes, sir. Okay, and so anyway, so year 2, you better have learned something. You better win at least a game. By year 3, you better go 5-5. By year 4, you better go 7-5, or you know, whatever it is, 7-3, whatever it is. I can't even add. I'm going too fast. And so then by your 5th year, you better take a team to state. That was always his goal. By his 5th year, he wanted to take a team to state. He wanted to have taken all of the young people and built them all the way to about their 4th year, right, to where they're seniors. But then that next crew that had been, led by those seniors, by that next year, you're going to state. So I always had to have 5-year plans, even when I was 5 years old. The other thing was we'd always have little sales meetings. My dad called them sales meetings. They were really just like family meetings inside the living room, but he would call a sales meeting anytime he'd learn something new. So he'd call us all in. He goes, all right, little sales meeting, people. Just read a good book, How to Win Friends, Influence People. Let's get in here. So I have 3 sisters, 2 older and 1 younger. And so we'd have to get in the room. Now, my 2 older sisters are way older, 7 and 6 years older than I am. And then my younger sister and I are a year apart, so a year and a day. So that's a pretty good gap. So when they're 13, right, minus 7, that's 6. We'll make it 12 because I like 5. So 12 minus 7 is, I'm 5. And so my dad would call them the little sales meeting. Everybody come on in here. Sweetest sound in all of the world is a person's name. Son, you need to practice that. Just practice someone's name. Just practice that a lot. They love to hear their name. So I'd walk around, Mom, Dad. May I call you Mom and Dad? Fantastic. And so I was learning at 5 years old how to be a little salesman, and so it was really good. So you got to overcome objections, get them saying yes. Get them saying yes. Mom, Dad, may I call you Mom and Dad? Fantastic. So you love me. Yes, of course you do. Yes. And you want to see me succeed, don't you? Yes, of course you do. Dad, I have a 5-year plan. Just want to let you know. Fantastic. Yes. And so you just get them saying yes so that you're moving forward. So my dad would teach us all this stuff. So now all of a sudden I've run into this young lady who doesn't seem to have value or doesn't want to live. And the first person I go to is my father to ask him, what should I do for my class in order to get them moving forward? Well, the good news was he had lots of great examples. And he said, you know all those books I told you to read by Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley and all this stuff? You should start reading them. So I started pouring through those books, and I started adding value into my classroom. Each day we would talk about one thing, anything that would happen to make their life better. Eventually it turned into every class, 5 days a week, 5 times a day. And then 5 years later into my teaching career, I started a camp for kids. So from 1997 and even till this day, I still do a camp every year. I'll be heading off not too long from now. I'll be going to Alabama to do my leadership camp for youth. But it's always been my passion. It will remain my passion in order to do that.